Well, we're doing our quiz today. I know you're very excited about it. So I'm gonna, for the quiz, it's pretty simple. I'll have you do the different parts, and it's gonna be the following way. It'll be I'm gonna track you here in a lesson tracker, and we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm doing that because I put some numbers in there and it's just confusing to see it on the lesson tracker with so many numbers. So the different sections are by letter. The first 6 sections are 14 points each. The last section 16 points, that's the scale. I have a random number generator right here, which is 0 to 11. And I will press that when it's time and you'll get your number. 0 is C, 11 is B major.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
I see.
So I can see you from here. So on the screen. So why don't you start with the first
Okay.
part?
All right. So I'll just say
Yeah, I should. Yeah, it's fine.
the bridge thing. So there's my bridge. Now we have on the bow string.
Next.
Now we have pizzicato bows. And then harmonics. Ringing tones. Oh, and I forgot our march-delay exercise. Okay.
Oh, hold on 1 second. All right. Now we have the scale.
Middle C's.
Okay. Go ahead. All right. Now your scale. Tell me when.
When?
Number 11.
Ah.
So that's B major. Okay. So A, B, C, and A, B, and C were all pretty good. You got 14 points each for each of those. The fourth one, you were a little bit out of order, in the middle especially.
Oh, and the Martelet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should.
And you played a. I almost thought you were going to play them, but you came back to them. But that's number 4, and we'll talk about how to play them in a second. So that was -4. Letter E was good. That was number 5. That was the harmonics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did that. You did that well. Letter F was the ringing tones, and that was fine.
Was the middle C's not part of it?
Ringing tones are part of middle C is part of ringing tones.
Oh, because you end on the C.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, I see.
But you only got 4 points off for the string crossings, and then the scale was a little flat, so that was 4 points off. So that's -8. That's 92. So good. Almost there. Now the memorization, I keep thinking about, like, does it really matter if it's totally memorized or in a good order? But you know, I think it does matter. And I'm wondering, like, about memory, like what I should be doing about memory. I mean, how I should teach it. I wonder if there's like a good way to teach memory. I don't know. And so I'm thinking about that a lot. But I think one thing that I know is that if you quiz students a lot, every 20 minutes in a class or in a lesson, perhaps that'll help retain some of the information that we have going on in the lesson. Healthy repetition is a good idea, and healthy repetition with variations. That's how you make it healthy. So anyway, that's all I know for now. I'm just thinking outside my head right here. So excellent. So now, how do we expand this? Let's talk about how to expand it. Place your bow near the tip, about 1/4 of the way up, like this, on the bridge, and touch the cello on this side. Now a little closer to the C bow. The bottom of the C bow.
Oh.
Right. Now stretch out. Right. So if you have some pain or discomfort when you're doing the stretch, you're doing it wrong. There's definitely a problem. So that if it's not correct, then you have to change how you sit, the angle of the cello, etc., the hand pin. Now place your bow right in the middle on the G and D string and on the bridge. Here we could use place it right at the frog, sorry, and on the right on in the middle. Now here, see, my arm is on the my forearm is stuck or resting on the side of the cello. Now with your fingers, just roll down to the C string and roll up. You're doing like this way, and that's great. Do a little bit of that with going down and up. Curve your fingers when you're up here on the D string, for example. Curve your fingers have a lower profile there. No, curve, elongate. See how I elongate my fingers? Yeah, it's a little better. You're doing kind of this thing. Feel the natural rolling of the bow down on the bridge. Really get on the bridge, because on the strings it's different. On the bridge. Now, let's try it a different way. Hold the bow with your left hand. Now, with your bow, you're going to go up, but also forward, meaning you're going to go down and back with your right hand. But let your right hand fingers react naturally, like this. See? Now come back. So try to do it by yourself now. But come back to a more curved position. So this could be a good way to practice this that we do upside down on the bridge. See how we can practice that on the bridge? On the bridge, on the bridge. So if you have a kid, and you're teaching some now, if you have a kid whose fingers are really tight, you can have them do this fishing pole thing. You can have them do the rocking on the bridge. Help their fingers. But the important thing is that they don't do it with their arm or their wrist or forearm, just the fingers. See, my fingers are nice and curved, elongated. And keep your fingers on the bow. There you go, it's a little better. Now it takes some time to get used to it. Now the second one, you didn't have to do the fingers, but that's how we expand that one, by adding more fingers. Can you do like open 1, 2? C major scale like this. Be careful, it doesn't sound like this. Watch my bow. Can you make your bow the leader and half it? So you're still following your fingers, right? So when you follow your fingers, it sounds like this. When you follow your bow, it sounds like this. It's a lot smoother with the bow leader. You hear it, right? You feel it, right? Yeah. So whatever happens, here's what you want to do first. You want to go for the feeling. You don't worry about the rhythm or the sound. Go for the feeling. Stretch out. Stretch out and come back. And then you can do it on any scale. Any way. So that's how you practice the string crossing. The next step is with the fingers in a very quick, like upbeat. So like a triple dotted quarter note with 30 seconds. Something like that. Yeah, he's awesome. And then of course with a scale, just over 2 octaves in one position, something like that. Very little shifting. Okay. The third thing we have the pizzicato bows. We could pick apart, say, like a piece of moving a Bach. So, for example, let's say you're doing the Courant of the third suite, right? So you could practice pizzicato bows. This lift. Notice I have also my left hand is finger first, tonal fingers, etc. There are a lot of things I'm putting in there. So you can practice with both hands. You can also practice just like make it even more simple, like you're learning a piece and you're having trouble with the string crossing. You can practice it without the left hand. For example, the Courant. And you don't have to practice it fast, you just practice it slow. You can also do the following, which is a brain twister. You can practice what we just did for the pizzicato bows, except this way. Down, up bow at the tip, at the frog, down bow at the tip. Try it. Up there, down there. No, you switch strings. Up bow, the up bow on the D now. D, D. Yeah, but at the frog, go. Yeah, up, down, down bow, up bow, down bow at the tip. Yeah, let's try it again. Ready? Up bow, down bow, up bow, down bow, up bow, down bow. You're not doing the up bow at the frog, and then down bow at the tip. Do it again. You didn't quite do it. Your brain is tired. Yeah, opposite. Up bow, go. Down bow. Up bow. Down bow. Up bow. No, not the frog. Up bow. Down bow. Up bow. Down bow. Yeah. It is difficult. It's like your brain is like freaking out for a moment. But honestly, that's what happens when you have something complex, like say a mixed meter. You're experimenting now with, yeah, and then it's not that difficult except that it's just slightly awkward, and you're not used to that. So once you can practice that piece, for example, all just open strings.
They changed the meter.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he like rewrote it. So,
Oh,
but he said I could leave out notes, but he said I have to do the leaps, so it doesn't really help. I mean, maybe it does, but
well, just do as it's only going to make you better, and in the end, we could always just do your best before the concert.
Yeah, just maybe like next week I could play it for you, because it's like really hard.
Yeah.
It's I mean, maybe it's easy for you.
No, I think that's why I gave it to you. Like, I don't want to learn
it.
Yeah. It's hard, but
like, if I learn this, I should just play to my jury. It's just like it's like that hard.
Well, because we could say it's an etude.
Oh yeah.
Like it's a modern etude that one of our composers wrote, and it was a project for you, and you worked on it really hard. You just rather put it on your jury. Right?
Yeah. I'm just thinking if I work on it that hard, because to make it good, it's like might as well.
Yeah. Okay, so then we have harmonics, and there's so many harmonics you could do from first, second, third, and fourth position. Here in the fourth position, go on the D string in the fourth position, and so what you want to do is 1, 3, 4, 2. Can you try it? Except here are a couple extra things to think about. One is how the bow is rubbing on the string. See? Really feel that rub. Or the bridge. So if you get scratchy, either your fingers got off the track that are not right on that little node, a little dimple where your finger's supposed to be, or your bow got off the track. Again. Again. can you play with these notes, stop them like real notes? You just play 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you hear?
No, the ringing tones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you hear like a good tone.
Yeah.
Did you try really hard?
No.
No, it just, you felt that resistance of the bow against the string, the rub, right? Instead of pushing down, and you had great tone. So when you play Dvorak and you feel like you're pushing too hard, realign those fingerings to make them in rhythms and put them on harmonics. So for example, sorry. And why this one? This one is actually kind of hard. It feels like the string is shorter, it's harder to find, the C sharp. And so if you get pretty accurate with that, your finger, and accurate with your bow, you could get a pretty good sound without trying. Want to try this one? But C sharp. So now, if you get to use second finger, you don't have to. You just have to have one finger on there. You get second finger. I kind of like the second finger because next because it kind of teaches you where that position is that you have to play anyway. But don't move it. Just play one note until you get to the last note, which is, or you do the last note on the D string or G string.
On the A.
Oh, so you can go. Go back. Okay. So, but now you really want to focus on the rub, close to the bridge. Get rid of all the blemishes. See? Get rid of those. And try it again. So here's a few things to think about. One is if you're tight.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
So you want to cultivate a feeling in your body that's like, hey, I'm playing with a full sound, but my body feels like it's normal, meaning you're not freaking out and overpowering it and overexerting it. You stretch out, move your neck if you need to. Ready?
Is it up there?
Because you're going to go. You did that way, right? Okay.
I think you gave me that.
Okay, it's good.
Okay.
It's a good fingering.
Okay.
Going.
Yeah.
Lean into the cello. Play closer to the cello. Touch on this side. Now, because we're playing on one note, because we can't hear the other notes in the rhythms of the left hand, being created with the left hand, it could seem a little boring. So you got to be very imaginative that that's like the most musical one note concerto ever. So when you practice, this comes from this guy named Dounis, D-O-U-N-I-S, not doofus, but Dounis.
Yeah.
Not douchebag, but Dounis. Not donut, but Dounis. Not do this, but Dounis.
Okay.
And not do not, but Dounis.
Remember his name.
Yeah. Anyway, he was, what I could tell, I think this maybe from some kind of Greek descent, ancestry. He was a doctor who was an amateur musician and somehow started to teach musicians because he was so good at analyzing what was wrong with you that he could tell you, like, just move your thumb over here and then everything would be great. Like, he just knew exactly what you needed to do. He wrote a few books, and even people like, famous people like Zuckerman and Perlman, when they were really young, like, played for him.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been, because he was alive in the 60s. Anyway, a lot of ideas come from him because he realized that there were certain things that people were doing that were inhibiting their playing. Anyway, there's a guy named Nykrug who talks about it. He has an interview on Internet Cello Society. You look up the archive. And Nykrug said he met him, and at that time he was dating a lady who was also a cellist, and they both went to play for him. And the lady friend of his was playing Schumann, and she played this one passage really well and easily. And then this guy Nykrug played it, and he was having trouble. And so Dunas saw both of them play it, and he said, well, the problem is that you're not releasing your thumb in time, and she is doing it naturally. And so, for example, like, that seems like really simple, but like, he wasn't a cellist.
But he just knew he could watch people.
Yeah. I think he played mandolin, and he probably played violin some, but
he wasn't a professional musician.
No, he was a doctor.
Huh.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Probably the best doctor ever.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's see how it sounds. Play it. And feel their body. That's why I said, like, do you still have that tightness? You want to do it a few more times until it goes away?
Yeah, maybe. I've been thinking about this a lot in my playing ever since I master class, and I think so I've been practicing these parts, like that part, and I practice it like super intense, so that's good, but I'm trying too hard with my body. So I noticed after about like 10 times of playing it, I have to take a break, like, and I naturally like just set my cello down and get on Instagram or something because I'm so tight. So I mean, I
think this little secret is going to help.
You've been telling me this like the whole time I've been here, but now I'm finally like, okay.
Let's do it. Here, let's do something. Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is my tone is improving, and I'm actually trying less.
Yeah.
And so this is good, but.
Why don't we do this? I'm going to put a little timer, and I want you to practice it for like 7 minutes. And the way you do it is just what we're doing here. And don't think of any other passage except for this one. So do your bowing. Make it as musical as possible. That means the bow speed, the dynamics, etc. Make sure your left hand is balancing on it. Remember, it's like 20% weight. Really feel like it's really balanced. Watch out for your thumb on the right side. Play right at the bridge. Don't overpress, but also see how far you can go. We'll try to get rid of the blemishes. So if you hear any squeaks or anything, you're probably going off of the track. Like you're like going this way instead of staying on the bridge. And stay on the bridge. Do you notice I was playing on the bridge?
Yep.
Just try to stay on the bridge. You'll figure it out. Your cello will tell you. And also, the more you play by the bridge, the easier it is, because you're as if your cello gets used to it. Right? If you don't play by the bridge, your cello doesn't get used to it. And what happens, for example, if you have a cello that's dormant, not meaning you haven't played it for like a few years, you try to play it, it's like it feels like you can't play by the bridge. Playing by the bridge, you'll figure it out. So with this start, I need to go to the restroom anyway.
Oh.
So I'll go to the restroom. I'll be back in 2 minutes, and in this time you could probably play it like 10 to 15 times, depending on how fast you go. But don't go fast, as slow as possible. And the whole time, just take an inventory of what's happening in your body. Maybe you have to turn this way, as we talked about. Like your whole body, like even your hips. Like like move in the chair, move in the chair. Yeah, like see, move your body. If your hips are like this, right and left, then just do this, like a different angle. Like actually move. Like just move, like move.
Like move? Oh, like.
Yeah, like that.
Like that. Well, I can't, my cello doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Adjust the cello.
I'm an idiot. I was like, my cello doesn't move.
So, now what does that do? Like here you are facing the same way as the cello, as the chair. you want to move like this way, but your cello is moving that, still that. So you're around the right side of the cello more. Yeah, but now move the cello to the normal spot. Yeah, but you're on this side. Yeah, you feel different?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the timer.
So just practice harmonics.
Yeah, in that passage. And you want to really feel, it's 7 minutes, you want to feel super relaxed, you want all this tension to go away, but you want maximum sound.
Okay.
Minimum effort, maximum sound. Okay. C sharp. Supported up here, but not tight, loose. That's it. Feel the bow rubbing on the string and pull the sound up. Now, as you're pulling, feel like you're pulling something this way. Pull this way, pull that way. Keep going, you're about like 2.5 minutes, but think about the rub a little bit more. like that last bum 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 be bum bum bum. I think your wrist was looser there and your fingers were looser. That's better. Good. One bridge. Then, ready. There you like going off the track a little bit. How does it feel? Tiring?
Well, it's just like this shoulder, like from holding it up. I don't know. Do you get tired from holding it up? Or no?
Yeah, but only when I'm doing it wrong. I have shoulder problems all the time. I think it has to do with your neck and how the muscles are pulling on it. But feel like you're balancing the bow on the string.
Well, like my arms, like everything feels fine, but here, because this is like what I'm actually like, it's the muscle I'm using to, like if you were doing like raises, like it's the same
but
thing.
you need to use this muscle underneath. Put your hand underneath your armpit and just like squeeze with your left hand and then squeeze that hand. See if you feel this one moving, this one doesn't move, right? You know, this one. Pull from there. Okay, we'll try one last time. Feel no different? Okay, drop everything. Now, when you're going to the tip, you just have to feel like you're just going that way. Can you just do it with your hand without the bow? And just like, you go up like that, just in front of you. Like you shake someone's hand. But you're gonna, but now you're gonna go like, kind of at a diagonal that way. Yeah, even more in front of you like that. Now twist your arm out a little bit like you're holding the bow. So just go like that. Now, with the bow, with the pizzicato, place your hand, like in a pizzicato position. And I want you to pizzicato on the A, but give me a high five. Yeah, that's.
Oh, that's like a bow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the direction. Yeah. That's how I do it for kids. And it's funny because sometimes kids are like, I was like, come on, you know to do a high five, don't you get out? So I make fun of them when they do that.
That's good. That's really good.
But for your kids, do the A, I'll show it again. Do the C string.
Oh, Z.
Yeah.
G string.
D string. A string. Yeah. Notice how easy it is to do that.
Yeah. That's good.
You also can do with a ball, one of those kind of squishy balls that won't like hurt anybody or knock anything down.
I want him to chunk it.
Yeah, do like this. Yeah. Exactly. Just make sure you don't hit anybody or break anything. Okay, ready? Find that B. Okay, and just go. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting because when you just play one note, like what I actually wanted my phrasing to be came out, because I just sat there and thought about it for 7 minutes. So.
And now you have a good phrasing.
And so my now I'm like fingers like, it's like no excuses.
Yeah.
You know.
And don't you feel that you weren't pressing, you were over pressing?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I was pressing a little too much this first time,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was more aware.
Try it. One more time. Well, yeah. You're a little more on the flat side, but your sound is much better. So now, let's see what we can do with that preceding section where you have that run on the way up. So, so you're doing some of that on the D string and some of it on the A string. So you want to go F sharp, B, and then switch over to C sharp. Over there in first position, or just with second Yeah. Almost. So you want to get a clear sound, obviously, and there are many things to think about, but priority goes to like, hey, why am I doing that? Like, is that movement, is that crouching over helping you? Is that raising your arm helping you? Is that squeezing helping? Okay. So you just want to like ask questions like, why is that there? You know? Mm-hmm. Just like I always ask questions of students. It's like, in my mind, it's like, okay, well you missed that class, but how come you missed my class? You know, like, you know, what's their priority here? So anyway, I'm always thinking it's like, okay, that's interesting. You know, go to my class, but you go to this class.
Like they don't come to your class?
Well, you know, like when they miss a lesson.
Oh.
You know, or miss a studio class. It's like, well,
priorities.
Right. Only.
Oh yeah.
Only 3 on the. So now, watch. I'm doing it in the extreme. See. By the bridge, like way. Yeah. So now, try to find also a way that you can choreograph it for yourself. So like, you can move a little bit in your chair, like move with the bow, move the opposite way, shake your neck a little bit. You know, if you do find that you have any tension and you don't know why, maybe shake it off a little bit. You know, if you got through all the regular steps of what you know, how to do things, how to get rid of the tension, maybe you need to start doing a little shimmy in the chair. You know, shake your head, yes, no, maybe. Move right, left, you know, with the bow, opposite the bow. So. I'm moving my bow a lot more aggressively in a way, but I'm not. My body is not aggressively tight, you know. Ready? Bridge, bridge. Try just playing it now. But trust the bow.
Oh my god.
So remember when we did the string crossing thing, and you were leading with the left hand. Think about the bow being the leader. El jefe on the right side. Just think the bow. I'm really following my right arm. Yeah. Again. Okay. In this kind of movement, don't get too fancy with your fingers. Just move more forearm and arm. See? You think forearm. So it's still a little bit on the tight side, isn't it?
Yep.
You just do that much? So I find that if my elbow's too low, then I don't have enough torque. Like
To get it down.
Yeah, place your elbow like here. See? You feel that
The weight.
difference? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
and then
prepare
relax.
that.
Did
Yeah.
you hear that a recital was moved into the recital hall tonight, and our studio might be cut?
No one told me.
A flute just told me, because they're in there organizing stuff for the recital.
Like that. Why do you check on that?
The party.
Hello, D-Sign.
Yeah.
We have a visitor.
Hi.
Hi, I'm
What
sorry to
happened?
interrupt. We're gonna have to move your cello studio
Oh.
today. We're gonna have to move to 219, so y'all can't use the recital hall today.
Oh.
I'm sorry, it's the dean. Like, we have to move, the Mercury is going over there.
To the recital hall?
Yes, sir.
You have rehearsal?
They do.
Well, and they have to move the organ.
They have to move the organ, it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, that's fine because I like that.
But I showed 219 is open,
Okay.
so if y'all wanna use that one.
Can you guys go to 219 and clean it up a little bit? We need
Yeah.
chairs and stands in there.
219?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
What,
Thank you.
did you come talk to me?
No, I
Okay.
was actually.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mackenzie.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Stein.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Mercury is playing here tonight.
Yeah. You gotta go.
Yeah.
Don't rush it. Pretend that the D string notes are like super slow, being but a dee da dee da dee da dee. Like do slower than you think on the D string. Okay, what if only the D string notes were like the only notes you had to play?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Again. Now after that, but feel like the ending is the A string, the
Oh.
first notes on the A. But you see, you're playing it good. I mean, but can you play more dramatically? So
Okay.
this is my. You know, like, make it fatter, like the ending of a phrase. Yeah, relax a little. make sure your bow's in there in the right time. No. Like, here's a mistake people make, and I do it too.
Sorry.
Just do one at a time. Like, and once you get it, once you feel like, okay, because crossing over is a little tough. You understand? Like, make it dramatic all the way through, but one step at a time. So now, is there any way you could release some of that? You're right. So what? Release, release. So I'm releasing in between. So when you're here, play the first one. Go ahead. Let's hear. Go ahead. A little bit more bouncing. So, do it again. I'm going to take your shirt. Ready? Yeah. Let's see. Let's feel like that circle in there and here. Like, there's something that so makes sense. Like if you imagine there's a pencil there, that you can draw little circles with it. And you don't have to, you don't need big circles. You just need circles.
Am I doing this right?
It sounds terrible, but
Well, I'm trying to get the feeling. Like,
yeah, you want to go for the feeling. Remember, it sounds hard to say.
It
It sounds
sounds
terrible.
terrible.
It sounds like shit. But here's the point: when you try something new, right now you sound good because you're tight.
Okay, yeah. So like,
You-
the feeling sounds good, but the notes, they're
yeah,
shit right
but
now.
now you're feeling good, but the notes aren't there. So there's a period of adjustment when you're like throwing in something
Yes,
something
you
new.
gotta swallow your pride.
A little bit, like you can play the notes, but you're struggling it because if you're gonna play the whole concerto, it's like 35-40 minutes. Can you survive that by being that tight? It's hard, and this is one reason why when you did the prelims for the concerto competition, you just got stiffer and stiffer, and then you probably would have played it better under like less stressful conditions. But honestly, it gets stressful to be in front of people.
They're like right here.
Yeah,
It's like-
exactly. So yeah, it's hard. What I'm trying to say is, you want to build things up, and this is one. I'm just teaching you how to practice this passage. Now, and so I think maybe I should go and try to take care of some of the stuff before we start.